The story of Joseph, from the pit to the palace. Long ago, in the land of Canaan, there lived a man named Jacob who had 12 sons. Among them was Joseph, his beloved son. Jacob loved Joseph deeply and gave him a beautiful coat of many colors. But Joseph's brothers became jealous. They saw that their father favored him, and their hearts grew bitter. To make matters worse, Joseph had dreams that seemed to show he would one day be greater than his brothers. His brothers became even more angry. One day, while they were far from home watching the family's sheep, they saw Joseph coming toward them. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. Their jealousy turned into hatred. They threw Joseph into a pit and planned to leave him there. But then merchants traveling to Egypt passed by, and his brothers decided to sell Joseph as a slave instead. Joseph was taken away from his home, his family, and everything he knew. He arrived in Egypt as a servant and was bought by a powerful man named Potiphar. But even as a servant, Joseph remained faithful. God blessed his work, and soon Potiphar trusted him with everything in his household. Joseph rose from a simple servant to the manager of the entire house. Then trouble came. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of wrongdoing, and Joseph was thrown into prison. It seemed like his life had fallen even lower. From a favored son, to a slave, to a prisoner. But Joseph never gave up. While in prison, Joseph used God's gift of understanding dreams to help others. He correctly explained the dreams of Pharaoh's servants who were also imprisoned. Years later, Pharaoh himself had troubling dreams that no one in Egypt could explain. The cupbearer remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh about him. Joseph was brought before the king. Pharaoh said, "I have heard you can interpret dreams." Joseph answered, "I cannot do it by myself, but God will give Pharaoh the answer." Joseph explained that Pharaoh's dreams meant Egypt would have 7 years of great harvest, followed by 7 years of terrible famine. He advised Pharaoh to store grain during the good years to prepare for the difficult ones. Pharaoh was amazed by Joseph's wisdom. He placed Joseph in charge of Egypt, making him second only to Pharaoh himself. Years later, the famine reached Canaan. Joseph's brothers came to Egypt looking for food, not knowing that the powerful ruler standing before them was the brother they had sold many years before. Joseph could have taken revenge. He had the power to punish them. Instead, he wept and said, "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt." His brothers were terrified, but Joseph forgave them. He told them, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Genesis 50 verse 20. Joseph brought his family to Egypt, reunited with his father Jacob, and cared for them during the famine. And so Joseph's story became a tale of faith, forgiveness, and hope, a young man who was thrown into a pit but was lifted into a palace, because even in the darkest chapters, God was still writing the story.